training diary. So to expand on that a little bit, I think you've actually got four kind of broad brush categories. So that's maybe the most basic reason to collect data is you want to improve on something specific, and then you might track it. So the example just a simple example I was thinking of, you might be doing a one-legged calf test or something, left versus right, because the goal is to make sure we've got good symmetry between the left and the right side, and the kind of work that Ben does with the valve system and the shoulder testing and all that kind of stuff. That is you're tracking something to make sure that there's a specific change. The next reason, maybe a level up, slightly broader, more macro, is you're going to profile an athlete, or you're going to profile a team, and then you're going to use that to design your program. And that's where, if I think about the work I've done, and when you get the opportunity to do this to a high standard, it can be really, really powerful. So I worked with individual athletes and then also with the teams, where we really got stuck in, did some really good profiling. You get then a really good picture of the neuromuscular, the physiological, the psychological, and the technical capabilities. You join it up, that integrated piece I was talking about in the intro, join it up with what they need to do to perform on the field, and then you can design a program. And I think it's kind of hard to do well, and it's hard to do regularly. I know people in the football space doing private work with players that are in teams, and that they're doing this quite professionally and on an ongoing basis, just to make sure that the player is in the right space. So I think it is really powerful if it's done well. So that's really interesting. Then the third reason is you might want to learn something new. So a little bit of a project style approach to collecting data. And then as a result of learning something, you make a change. You might not then carry on with the data. So I've got an example from one of our current breakaway clients who's a tennis player. They've engaged in kind of collecting a lot of data to just try to work out match specific intensity and make sure that how they're preparing and the drills that they do and the kind of sessions that they're working with typically are in the right space to prepare and be ready for matches. And so that is, having done that, they're making some changes, and then doesn't necessarily mean they need to do the data every day from now on or keep using those devices, but they've got what they want out of that, and they've made that change, and then they can dip in and out from that point forward. And then the final one, which is maybe where most people assume it is monitoring, and the reason you monitor is then to make decisions and then to make adjustments, and that can be quite on a sort of small level, or it can be quite comprehensive and wide-reaching. And again, I think the more you can get player engagement, and the more you can get an athlete to understand why you want to do that and what it gives you, the more power you potentially have if you can create that really comprehensive monitoring piece.